Hey guys, it's me, it's Queen Onset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, pass it on to anyone who might like it too, and remember to drop us a positive comment in the comment section. And stick around to the end because when I'm done, I'm going to read two of my favorite comments and respond to them from previous videos. So one of them could be yours. Underneath this video is my email. If you would like to get a reading done, please email me. Also, I have a lot of other stuff underneath this video, so check it out. My merchandise for Asking Aquarius is underneath this video. My Patreon link and my patrons, my top patrons, are underneath this video. My Amazon wish list is underneath this video. And also my PayPal, in case you want to send a donation, is underneath this video. Also, my social media is underneath this video. So check out that section. So today, listen, we're going to do something really fun. For those of you who are Harry Potter fans like I am, Gryffindor house. For those of you who are fans like I am, this is going to be a lot of fun. And for those of you who don't know anything about Harry Potter, it's going to have a lot of connection with astrology. So if you like astrology but don't know much about Harry Potter, I promise to bring it together for you, okay? All right, so what we're going to do today, we're going to talk about the characters and if I think they act like their zodiac sign. I have the birthdays and the zodiac signs of the main characters. Now, there's a lot of characters in Harry Potter, so I just picked out the main ones. Like, I have the Golden Trio. Everybody knows Harry, Hermione, and Ron. There's a Golden Trio, that's them. There's a Silver Trio. There's some professors, there's some other people in there that are kind of cool. So I just grabbed the ones that I knew were really popular. If I need to do a part 2 to this video, you guys can let me know and I can add in anybody that I missed that might have been one of your favorites. But these are all my favorites. Number 1, the Golden Trio starts with, of course, Harry Potter. Harry Potter was born July 31st, 1980. He is a Leo. Does Harry Potter act like a Leo? I would say yes. Because first of all, one of the things that everybody says about Leo is that Leos love to have attention. And as Harry gets older, he starts to like being the chosen one. The girls start cutting eyes at him in the library, you know, and it's like, ooh, that's the chosen one. So he starts to grow into his celebrity status the older that he gets, and he starts to enjoy it. Whereas in the beginning, he was kind of taken aback, like, what? As time progresses, as the books progress and the movies progress, he begins to like his celebrity status. Also, Harry is very brave, and Leos are known to be lions. So some Leos, it depends on the kind of Leo you have, but I was once told there is the cowardly lion, there is the courageous lion, there's the pussycat. There are different, different vibrations that go along with the Leo. I think that Harry is very courageous. So he fits that courageous lion, the lion with the big roar. And as he gets older, he is more and more brave. I mean, he's brave from the door. When he gets to Hogwarts, he's already ready to defeat Voldemort and to fight this one and fight that one. So Harry is definitely, in my opinion, very, very Leo. The next one is his sidekick, my girl Hermione Granger. Hermione was born on September the 19th of 1979. Hermione is a Virgo. Hermione is very Virgo. Hermione is so smart. Hermione was said to be the most clever witch of her age. So out of the thousands of witches in the Harry Potter universe, in her age, she is the most clever witch. If it wasn't for Hermione, I don't think Harry would have made it. I think he would have died in the first book. Hermione is the one who read constantly. Very Virgo. Virgos are very intelligent. They like to read. Virgos are usually experts in their field and they're perfectionists. All of these traits you can attribute to Hermione Granger. If it wasn't for her reading those ancient books, those magical books that the other kids, it was so funny. She had one book, and this book was like this big. And she says, oh, I just checked it out for a bit of light reading. I was like, light reading? A magazine is light reading, Hermione, not a 3,000 page book. So if it wasn't for her reading, constantly reading about Hogwarts, reading about magic, reading about spells, Harry would have been dead. And Voldemort would have took over the wizarding world, basically. So this Virgo energy, this perfectionist energy, wanting to know everything, to do everything, to be an expert in the things that you know. Eventually, a lot of people don't know this unless you looked at Pottermore, but Hermione ends up being the minister of magic. So she ends up as a woman with one of the highest offices in the wizarding world. So Hermione, she got that Virgo thing going on. The third one is Ronald Weasley. Ronald Weasley ends up marrying Hermione, by the way, and he is March 1st, 1980, and he is a Pisces. I can see the Pisces and Virgo going together too, because it's the earth and water. They say earth goes well with water. Earth goes well with earth, and earth goes well with water. So those two look good. Now, Ronald Weasley, is he a Pisces vibration? I would say yes, because Ronald he was very caring. He had a lot of feelings. He had a lot of emotional depth. And you see this throughout the book. When he first meets Harry, he meets him and he's offering to share. The Weasleys are a very poor family. A big family, but it's a poor family. I think she had like 8 children, 7 or 8 children. I can't remember now how many it was, but it was a lot of them. And it was the mother and the father, and they all had red hair. And Ronald Weasley was the youngest boy. And he didn't have much. But when he first met Harry on the train, he offered to share his little cheese sandwich with him. You know, didn't have anything, but still was offering to share. So he definitely has the goodness. You know, when you meet a good Pisces, when you meet a high vibrational Pisces, they're very kind, they're very sweet, they're very giving. And Ronald definitely was very Pisces in that energy. Also, later on, as Ron gets older, when he starts to get angry about things, you see the dark side of Pisces come out, because there's 2 fishes with Pisces. And you see the second fish start to come out when he starts to get angry and he starts to get jealous of Harry and Hermione. But all that turns around by the end. So that part was really cool. So he definitely has that Pisces energy. Now I'm going to tell you guys about the Silver Trio and their zodiac equivalents. Neville Longbottom. Neville Longbottom was born on July 30th, so the day before Harry, 1980, so he's also a Leo. Now, Neville was the embodiment of the cowardly lion in the very beginning. Neville, if you take a look at his backstory, Neville's parents ended up being tortured to insanity. So he grew up without his mother and father. He was raised by his grandmother. And his grandmother was constantly yelling at Neville about one thing or another. He was always forgetting things. Neville was a trip. And Neville was scared. He was scared of his own shadow. But as the movies progress, Neville steps up. By the last movie, Neville helps defeat Voldemort. He gives the death blow to Nagini, the big old snake that was about to devour everybody. And that snake had to be killed for Voldemort to be killed. And Neville is the one that led with that death blow. And you saw him progress all the way from, like, you know, the second book up. You saw Neville become more and more courageous. So he goes from being that cowardly lion to that courageous lion. Good job, Neville. He also grew up to be really gorgeous. In real life, Neville is really handsome. Luna Lovegood. She was the 3rd member of the Silver Trio. Luna Lovegood is probably my 2nd favorite Harry Potter character. I have a little pocketbook that has Luna on it and have her little glasses. She used to wear these weird glasses. The reason why I love Luna is because Luna is an Aquarius. She's born on my birthday. When I found that out, I started squealing, y'all. And she was born February 13th, 1981. Not even just a couple years after me, actually. And she is very Aquarius. She's eccentric. She's a light Aquarius. She's very eccentric. She's very kind. She's imaginative. She's intelligent. She's in Ravenclaw house. And Ravenclaw house is said to be the most intelligent wizards and witches. And that's the house that she's in. So Luna, on top of being imaginative and creative and having all that Aquarian goodness going on, because she's into love and light, and Luna respects everybody, even the little creatures, you know. She has a really good energy. She's like one of the best Aquarius. Like, she's the best version of Aquarius. When we're at our top game, we're at our most compassionate, our most benevolent, that's Luna. Luna is Aquarius at its best. She is eccentric. She wears weird glasses. She wears weird outfits. She talks about these strange beings and everybody is like, what? And you know, you don't know, like, what are you talking about? And she's really, really very imaginative and creative. So to me, she's the best that Aquarius has to offer, I swear. She's really good. She's a loyal person. She's a fierce, you know, when she gets to be a friend with someone, you see her friendship in the books develop. When she becomes friends with someone, she fiercely stands by them. She fiercely protects them. And if she really cares about somebody, you know, she really shares herself with them. She's very Aquarius in that way. I love Luna. And let me see. Another member, let me see, is Ginny Weasley. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think that all three of them, let me see this, all three of them make up the Silver Trio: Neville, Luna, and Ginny. Now, Ginny Weasley, the third member of it, she is Ronald Weasley's little sister. She's the last child born to Ronald's parents. Ginny Weasley was born on August 11th, 1981, so she's a year behind them, and she also is a Leo. She ends up marrying Harry Potter, another Leo. So I love to see the combination. When you have two signs, Leo and Leo, Aquarius and Aquarius, you have two people of the same sign come together. It can be the most romantic situation you've ever been in, or it could be the worst situation you've ever been in. It's either one of the two extremes. Ginny and Harry were said to get along very well. Throughout the book, you watched their, I could see them like slowly falling in love, but some people are like, no, he should have been with Hermione, but I could see it. And I think that it's a good match. They got along very well. They both were very brave. And they ended up getting married and having kids. And according to everything I've read, because there's a lot of stuff written like that's canon, a lot of stuff on what they call Pottermore. Pottermore is a website that is the official Harry Potter website. And recently they changed it to a new one. I didn't see the new one, but it's a new one. I think it's called the Wizarding World website. So basically, it's a lot of stories and backstories on there. That's how I got their birth dates. And Ginny is extremely fierce. They say she ended up being a really good mother. Ginny was really cool in those kind of ways. And she always was really brave. And even as I was reading it, they said as she grew up, she became even more brave. Ginny was fierce. So she has that Leo energy going on. Ginny also had some problems in her love life, and all the Leo women that I know had similar problems in their love life, you know, she had a lot of trouble, you know, settling down. First she was dating one guy and he didn't treat her right, made her cry, and then another guy did something to her. And I was like, that's interesting, because the Leos that I know have a lot of those the women have a lot of those kinds of issues, and Ginny definitely did. Now, Ginny and Ron had two twin brothers, George and Fred. I love George and Fred Weasley. They are adorbs. They were born April 1st, 1978, so the year after me. And they're both, of course, Aries. Now, do they behave like Aries? Yes. They're fiery, just like Aries. They have a fire to them. These two are a trip. They're jokesters. They're always doing stuff they have no business. And this, to me, again, reminds me of the best energy of Aries. Aries have a tendency to do stuff they have no business. But in this case, it's like jokes and it's pranks. And, you know, they stole this map from, you know, this guy's office, and they're wandering around the school, and they're riding around shooting off firecrackers, and they end up owning a joke store. And, you know, they're all a very fiery energy and really good gentlemen. Very fun, very humorous gentlemen. So again, they were the best, that fiery Aries energy, the best of it. It was really cool. And they were really good. Like, they were very helpful to Harry, very loving to Harry. Because remember, Harry's parents died, and Harry was being raised by, you know, an aunt and uncle that weren't very kind to him. And the twins and Jenny and all of the Weasleys really embraced Harry. Hermione embraced Harry. Like, Harry got a lot of love outside. So that was a good thing, something he really did need throughout the series. Now I'm going to tell you about the professors. Albus Dumbledore is one of my favorite characters. Love Dumbledore. I love him. I love his intelligence. And what I found out about him that was very interesting was that there was no date of birth for him. Nobody knows when Albus was born. Little mystery. But they know that it was in July or August of 1881. Wizards live longer than humans. So he's pretty old by this point. And so that makes him a Cancer or a Leo, or maybe born on the cusp of both. Now, what do I think about this? I think that Albus could have been on the cusp, because he does have some very serious Cancer traits. Because the part of him that's like, you know, Cancers in their most high vibrational positive form are very kind. Very good people in their positive form. So he did have that. He was very kind to Harry. He was very kind to all of the kids. He was the headmaster at Hogwarts. He was extremely kind, very fatherly though with his energy, always teaching them lessons and telling them things. But he also, like a lot of Cancers, was very secretive. I've come to find Cancers they're kind of like Aquarius and Scorpios in that way. They keep a lot of secrets. So Albus did. Albus kept a lot of secrets, and he revealed things to Harry and the kids as needed. He was very, very funny about that. So I definitely can see those traits in him. But I also could see Leo, because he was very much on. You know, he was a star, you know. His outfits were very flamboyant, and, you know, he really enjoyed being himself. And a lot of Leos that I know are stars. They love to be watched. They love to be seen. They love that. So I could see him being on the cusp. We don't know for sure, but that's what I came up from it, because I was trying to see, could he fit into one neatly? And he really doesn't. He does seem to fit in both. So I think that Albus Dumbledore is a Cancer Leo cusp. Could be wrong. Gotta ask J.K. Rowling. Minerva McGonagall. I love Minerva McGonagall, Professor McGonagall. She can turn into a cat. She turns into this little kitty with these little eyeglasses on. She's so adorbs. Anyway, she was born on October 4th, 1935. She is a Libra. What interests me about this part was 2 Libras have betrayed me in my life. They were both born on October 4th. I thought that was very interesting. So that is her birthday, October 4th. And she does act very Libra. Libras are very in their head. They have a tendency, the best of them, the real good part of them, is very intellectual and likes to think. They like beauty and fine things. And that's how Minerva is. Minerva's very smart. She ends up taking over as headmaster of Hogwarts, a position that you have to be very intelligent and have high marks for. She's very smart. She likes to read. She's really good at teaching the kids. She has a lot of positive energy. She dresses in a very sophisticated, beautiful, aesthetic kind of manner. All of these things are very Libra. She's a lot of Libra going on. I didn't see her betray anybody though, so she has the positive characteristics of Libra. McGonagall was actually very loyal. She was protecting the school. When Voldemort came, she protected the kids. Minerva McGonagall is a really cool character. Very likable teacher. Very strict though. You know, she wasn't no pushover. She's a very strict teacher, but she was a very good person, and that came through in her character. Now, My number one favorite character, and you can't see, he's on my arm. You can't see it good though. But my number one favorite character is Professor Severus Snape. That's my boo. That is my boo. Look here. I could throw away all the other characters and give me Professor Snape. Love Professor Snape. Professor Snape was played by Alan Rickman, and both of them are deceased. Professor Snape died in the movie, and the actor who played him died afterwards. So it's always very sad for me when I think about Professor Snape. But he was born on January the 9th of 1960, and he is a Capricorn. Now, it's very interesting because Capricorns, I have a love-hate with Capricorns. My favorite person of all time was a Capricorn, my grandmother. My grandmother is my favorite person. My grandmother died when I was 7, and she's still my favorite person. And she was a Capricorn. And Severus Snape is my heart. Now, does Severus act like a Capricorn is the question. I would say definitely so, because the thing about Severus is Severus is kind of grouchy. He kind of grouchy with the kids. He's not that cool teacher, you know? He's kind of grouchy, and some Capricorns get that rep. They get a bad rep for being kind of serious, kind of grouchy. My cousin says they're assholes. we have a lot of Capricorns in our family, and she's like, all the Capricorns in our family is assholes. She always says that, and me and her laugh about it. And Severus does have that going on. He has that whole asshole thing going on completely. He's intelligent, like a lot of Capricorns are. He's down to earth. He's practical. When they go to his home, you can tell by the way it's decorated. It's very down to earth. It's very practical. There's not a lot of glitz and glamorous books in there and comfortable furniture. You know, he has a lot of Capricorn going on with that. And Capricorns usually have nice things. Most of the Capricorns I know, not all of them, have nice things. And Severus had nice, like, vintage things he, inherited from his ancestors and things like that. And you can see it all in his home. So he's very Capricorn in that way, and he's also Capricorn in this way. I did not like Severus until the scene where he died. The scene right before, I think it was right before he died, but it was that movie. It was like the end, like to 7. I think it was movie 7 or movie 8. It was all the way at the end. And that's when I started to like him, because the whole time that you're watching him, you think he's just this mean Capricorn, this grouchy, got this thing going on. But you come to find that the reason why he's acting like that is because he's in pain. A couple of months ago, I did a video, and it's called Snape Syndrome. And you find out in the last 2 movies that he is in love with Harry Potter's mother. He's been in love with her since they were children. And she did not love him back. Unrequited love. He dealt with that while she was alive. It was what it was. But then she's murdered. Voldemort, who he was working for. Snape was a Death Eater. He was working for Voldemort. And Voldemort murders his beloved Lily. And Snape snaps. He just snaps. And inside of him, it's like all that grouchiness we see come out of him is hurt, is pain, is anger, is anguish, is resentment, it's regret, because it was his fault that Lily got killed. He gave Lord Voldemort some information, and he didn't realize it, but at the time, but it led to him going to kill Lily. He didn't want to kill Lily. He wanted to kill Harry, but Lily jumped in the way of her baby, as most women would, and she took the death blow. And when Severus got to the home, she was dead on the floor. And he realized that it was his fault, and he never forgave himself. So his meanness is all attributed to his pain. And I see this a lot with the Capricorns that I personally know. A lot of them are mean. My daughter's father had a little mean streak to him for a long time. And then lately, I've noticed that he seems to be a lot better, a lot happier. And I'm like, something is healing in him. So with the Capricorn, when they have something in them that really hurts, they probably won't talk about it or let it out, but they feel it. The reason why the line always from Harry Potter is so popular is because that's what Severus said about Lily. When Albus asked him, see, Albus didn't know he was still in love with her all this time. She had been dead for years. And Albus said to him, Lily Potter? Like, you're still in love with Lily Potter? And Severus takes out his wand and he waves it, and his Patronus comes out. Patronus is like your spirit guardian. And his spirit guardian was a doe, just like Lily. Your spirit guardian takes on the form of the person you love the most sometimes in the Harry Potter universe. So he was so in love with her, and that's how Dumbledore was like, Lily Potter? Like, he didn't even realize Severus was still in love with her. And when he does the little thing and the doe comes running out, he says, always. And the way he said it made me fall in love with him. I've loved that character ever since, because I felt like that about someone once upon a time. And when he said that, it just hit me right here. And I just loved him. I loved him ever since, because I understood him. I'm like, oh my God, you know, I understand him. And a part of him is just like me. And it was just amazing to me. So Severus Snape has always been my favorite character. And yes, he does act very Capricorn. Another Capricorn is Lord Voldemort. Ain't that something? The main villain in the Harry Potter series is a Capricorn. That's why I said I have this love-hate with Capricorns, because some of them I love so much, and some of them I want to choke. And Lord Voldemort was born December 31st, 1926, and he is the embodiment of the other kind of Capricorn. He's the kind of Capricorn who has no positive qualities. Maybe he was hurting too. Now that I think about it, he did go through a lot. His father rejected him, his mother died, so maybe he was hurting too, and that's why he was so maniacally evil. So to me, Voldemort represents the angry Capricorn, you know, and the hurt Capricorn. But unlike Severus, he never chooses to do anything productive or positive about it. Severus channeled his into being a double agent and helping the kids. He was helping Harry the whole time, but acting like he couldn't stand him and the kids. He was mean constantly, but behind the scenes, he was fixing things for Harry and protecting him from Voldemort the whole time. He never told anybody but Albus. Dumbledore is the only person that knew. And when we look at Voldemort, he never got any of that. He never really got any kind of a close relationship with anybody. He never channeled it into anything positive. He wanted to take over the wizarding world. And the one person that was close to him was his pet snake. You know? And then there's one other person who was close to him that I didn't do in this series. And she ends up, according to the play, she ends up having his baby. But of course, they both died in the last book, so that's a whole nother story. The last person I'm going to do today is Draco Malfoy. Draco Malfoy I did because Draco was Harry's main antagonist. And him and Draco fought and competed throughout the entire book. And Draco was born June 5th, 1980, and he's a Gemini. So people said to me, does Draco act like a Gemini? Well, Geminis are two people at once, the twins. And Draco definitely did have that ambivalent kind of energy going on. On one hand, he's a spoiled brat, little snot-nosed, creepy kid. And on the other hand, when Harry gets captured, he's the one that doesn't snitch on him so he can get away. So there's two very different sides to Draco. And even at the end, towards the end of the books, Draco takes on a wife, and we see all this kindness If you look at Draco's story, because they have the backstory and they have the after story, Draco married a woman, had a child, and he was very kind to his woman and child. So we see that duality with Draco. We see the mean Draco and we see the kind Draco. So he very much does have the duality going on. Alright guys, those are my favorite Harry Potter characters and how they do or don't act like their particular sign. If you have any more characters from Harry Potter or Fantastic Beasts that you would like me to talk about in part 2, I will be so happy to do it. Give this video a like and let me know underneath here who the character is, and I'll be so happy to do a part 2. Now, positive comment number 1 came from Emil Jones. Emil said, "Whoo, I felt this pain for her because I've been there before and it hurts to face the truth." Emil's talking about unrequited love that I talked about last week and I just talked about with Severus Snape. Unrequited love is gotta be the worst feeling in the world. You know, you're totally in love with somebody who doesn't even know that you exist, or that knows that you exist, but this doesn't feel the same way about you. And the most mature thing you can do, the best thing you can do for your mental health is just to leave it alone. But it is so painful. I've been there and some of you have too based on the comments, and it is not, it's not pleasant at all. Monique Clark, what's up Monique? Monique said, "We like smart people." Yes, Aquarius like smart people. They may not always be the most attractive, but they know how to have passionate conversation and ideas flow. Yes, Monique. Passionate conversation, very creative. You know, you don't have to be a supermodel. It's nice to have a beautiful person. I love a pretty face, but it's not enough. I'd rather have an average person with a wonderful mind. You know, because that's going to entertain me more. Looks fade, people. I'm sorry. Looks fade and they fade fast. I've seen people that are my age that look like they're in their 60s. Looks fade very quickly depending on your genetics. So I don't place, and a lot of Aquarius don't place all our basket in the basket of looks. Alright guys, time for me to get going. Come back soon because I got a lot more to say. See ya.